Hey guys, my name is Tito. I make videos on personal finance on my other channel. On this channel, I talk about other things, like in this video when I'll be reviewing the fourth and final episode of the new Netflix series, Blood Sisters. Now, kudos to those of you who've watched my other reviews, i.e. the reviews of episodes 1, 2, and 3. I'll link them in the card in the corner of the screen if you want to check them out. Now, for those of you who've seen the finale, you'll know that it opens up with Ibrahim Suleiman's character, Kenny, tracking the girls down at the beachfront property, right? But unfortunately being terminated by the good doctor played by Tope Tedela, who is in turn terminated by Kemi, played by Nancy Isime. They grab Kenny's car and they take off and they go to Kenny's grandmom's house. Kenny's grandmom played by Joke Silva. Ultimately, they get caught by Uncle B with the help of the police, and Mrs. Ademola wants them brought to the warehouse where she wants her son Femi to do the honors and terminate both girls. Now, as you know, Timei steps in and pretty much saves the day. She gets the girls, she sets them free, and she puts an end to her family's foolishness and mischief by popping Uncle B and her brother and her sister-in-law, and maybe even her mom, because we don't know how it ends there, right? Now, I say all this because I want to talk about how I felt about the ending of this series. I actually enjoyed it. I like the fact that they left the door kind of open for a sequel or maybe even a prequel. It didn't necessarily end with a very happy ending. The girls come to terms with their destiny or their fate, and they're like, look, let's just face the music. We can't keep running forever. And it was a decent ending. I actually liked it. I understand if people have issues with it, but from what I've seen thus far on social media, people really loved the entire series and loved the ending as well. Shout out to Genoviva Ume. She was the star of this episode in my opinion. Her performance throughout the series was amazing. Incidentally, she's nominated for an AMVCA, which is the MVCAs is in a few days. We'll see if she wins, but shout out to her. Awesome performance in the finale and in the entire series. Speaking of performances, let's dive into the performances, not just in this particular finale or final episode, but in the series altogether. Now, the individual performances on this series were fantastic. Everybody brought their A game. Everybody really delivered. The only one I would have tweaked a bit would have been maybe Kate Henshaw's performance. I would have added a bit more personality, a bit more life to her character, or required a bit more life from her acting, right? But at the same time, I don't mind. I would still take the way Kate Henshaw portrayed this character over, having Shola Shubowale or Shafi Bello or Tinamba play, Deyemi and Gabriel's character's mother. So yeah, that's that. But I also want to talk about the actors that had most of their scenes with one other particular actor, the pairings. For example, Nancy and Imi, Kehinde, Bankole, and Gabriel Afolayan, who I think made out in every single episode of this series. That was a bit weird, but hey, it added to the story. And also Wale Ojo and Segun Arinze, Wale Ojo also and Daniel Etim Effiong. For the characters that were paired or had lots of scenes with another actor, I really loved the chemistry. It felt very natural. It felt very organic, very believable, particularly Ini and Nancy's performances together. Kudos to the actors themselves and the filmmakers as well on getting that element right. Even the people that had smaller roles. Toyin Ibrahim was in this. She was in the final episode, I do believe, and she had, I think, 2 scenes, but she delivered. Toyin Ibrahim, Patrick Doyle, Seun Ajayi, Demi Olubanwo, Mobola Akinde, Imo Ebo, Morris Sam. There are so many good actors in this series who had smaller roles, but everybody delivered. Everyone brought their A game. Even the extras brought their A game. Now, as much as I enjoyed the performances and I've gone on about, the wardrobe and the colors and all that, what I really liked about Blood Sisters were the things that happened from the behind the camera aspect of things. For example, the camera work was amazing. You had dynamic images. The images were hardly ever static or just on a tripod. They were always moving, or they were tilted or off center. They were very creatively done and executed. And I know I haven't mentioned their names all this while, but shout outs to the directors, Kenneth Gyang, who directed episodes 3 and 4, and Biyi Bandele, who directed episodes 1 and 2. They did amazing work. And I also want to mention the cinematographer the editor, the sound editor, and the person in charge of sound design. These particular departments were very well done, and I could really appreciate their work as I was watching this series. And I really was hoping that Nigerian filmmakers, directors, producers, and editors were also watching this series, Blood Sisters, and taking notes, because it's not just by packing, you know, high-profile actors in your production and pointing a camera at them. So many other things need to work together for you to get a beautiful production, or at least one as good as Blood Sisters. And I'm not going to be insensitive and, you know, suggest that money isn't a factor in producing a fantastic production like this, but sometimes it's not just about the money. Sometimes these filmmakers actually have the money, but they're cheap, or they just want to take shortcuts to produce a hit, and it doesn't work that way. But back to Blood Sisters, congratulations to the crew, wardrobe department, the camera units and camera departments, the editor, because I edit as well, I edit my YouTube videos. I know what it must have taken to edit this production, and the cinematographer as well. The cinematography in this series was brilliant. The camera work, once again, kudos to everyone behind the scenes or behind the cameras on this production. What I didn't like, surprisingly, there was nothing about this series, Blood Sisters, that I did not like, which was a big shock to me, because typically with Ebony Life Studios productions, I can easily spot a few things that tick me off, but there was nothing I didn't like in this one. In fact, if you deep it right, this series had messages within it. I mean, it talked about the criminal justice system, abuse, you know, against women, just messages here and there that will speak to your conscience. So what I thought I would be able to catch them with was unnecessary scenes or unnecessary subplots, but everything in this series was relevant and made sense. So that's it, guys. Blood Sisters, what did you guys think about it? So many of you have opinions about this series. Many of you have been DMing me asking for this review or wanting to talk about Blood Sisters. Sorry I haven't replied you. I've been trying to get this review out of the way. Let me know your thoughts about Blood Sisters in the comment section down below. Shout out to those of you who have watched all 4 of these reviews. I was torn as to whether I should do one long review and talk about the entire series at once, or whether to break it up into 4 different videos, which is what I ultimately ended up doing, just the way I reviewed King of Boys last August. I'll link the playlist for that down in the description box below. Guys, please remember to like this video by clicking on the like button, especially if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to my channel as well. If you're new around here, click on that red subscribe button. On my channel, I don't just do Nollywood movie reviews, I also talk about relationships. To check out my relationship videos and my Nollywood movie reviews, you can click the card in the corner of the screen. I should also let you know that I have another YouTube channel where I talk about personal finance, saving and investing for young people, that type of stuff. If you feel that's something that you'd be interested in, and I think you would be interested in it, you can check the description box down below for a link to that YouTube channel. For the final time, thank you guys so much for watching. Kudos Ebony Life Films or Ebony Life Studios. You guys have produced a hit, and if you can produce another hit like Blood Sisters, maybe we'll forget about Chief Daddy too. How about that? Thanks guys, catch you in the next one.